welcome to Sports in the Spirit. It's the only show, at least that I know about, where we take Catholic things, we take sports, we combine them into one, and it's pretty awesome, of course. My name is Andy Shimura, I am your host, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be here, I'm excited to do this video, I'm excited for the day and for this topic, because you know what? This is an important one. How do we even know if God is real? A lot's riding on that question, and if you think about it, I don't know if there is a point to life without God. I mean, if we're just going to live so we can one day die and never have even remembered our life, it's almost like you're not even living in the first place when you look at it that way. What if the human race just dies out one day and the universe goes on billions of years without us? It's a grim way of thinking about it, but it's like, what's the point of even living if that's what it's going to come down to, right? So we really want to know if God is real or not. Because if he is, and if there's a heaven and all that stuff is real, then that's a game changer. All of a sudden, you can find meaning in life. That's why even the most skeptical atheist in the world, I think, should root for God's existence. They should. It's very simple. The world is better off with God than without God. So we need him to be real. But is he? Let's see. Maybe we can use sports to help us out. I want to talk a little bit about baseball. And we're going to go back to 2018, the American League Championship Series. And this was the Boston Red Sox versus the Houston Astros. Now, if you know anything about baseball, you know that the winner of that series was going to go on to the World Series. These were two of the last 4 teams remaining in the MLB playoffs. In other words, they're really, really good. And they got a shot to win it all. And it really, really matters. Boston was playing well. They were up 3-1 in that series. If they won Game 5, they would have advanced to the World Series. But I know that Justin Verlander and the Houston Astros had something else to say. And if you're going to get past Houston, you got to find a way to get past Verlander, who's going to be a future Hall of Famer for a reason. Well, you know, Verlander's digging. He's being Verlander, right? He's going out there. He's pitching pretty well early on in the game. But all of a sudden, a dude by the name of J.D. Martinez steps up for Boston. Now, Verlander throws a hanging curveball in the upper end of the strike zone. Martinez capitalizes immediately. He demolishes that ball deep into the outfield. It was a home run for Boston. They took the lead. They would not relinquish that lead. They won the game, they won the series, they went on to the World Series where they did win it all. It's a great year for Boston. But let's go back to that pitch. Let's think a little bit more about that single pitch that Justin Verlander threw against J.D. Martinez. Now, it was a curveball. I think it's safe to say Martinez knew he was getting a curveball, right? Because he actually hit an MLB best 460 average against curveballs that season. 460, that's really, really good. To put that in perspective, the rest of the league was hitting 267 against curveballs. So, you know, JD was pretty darn good against that pitch. He was also very familiar with Justin Verlander's stuff, though, because they were former teammates. They actually played with each other in Detroit. So they knew each other well. You know, he knew that pitch very well. I think you can logically assume that J.D. Martinez, when he saw that ball coming at him, he's like, oh yeah, this is a curveball. And he knew what to do, and he, made the home run. And it was a big play. But if you think about it, it's kind of impressive because it sounds like J.D. could have seen the hand placement on the ball. Like if you can see Verlander holding the ball in this exact way, then you're proving that it's a curveball. Okay, that's undeniable proof. You can put that in the books, but you can't see that from JD's perspective when he's in the batter's box. No. Instead, he has to see the trajectory the ball is taking as it comes at him. And then you can look at that and say, okay, it must be a curveball. Like, it's a matter of cause and effect. The cause is the hand placement on the ball. The effect is the way in which the ball spins as it's coming at the batter. What J.D. Martinez had to do was look at the effect of the baseball and realize what the cause was so that he was able to figure out that it's a curveball. You know, cause, effect. We talk about this sometimes with the faith, and St. Thomas Aquinas will talk a ton about this, and it's beautiful because he proves that God is real through cause and effect, okay? And in his case that he's talking about, the effect is the universe, okay? The fact that we exist is actually strong evidence that God must be real. And what Aquinas says is that you can keep going further and further back to the very beginning of time, okay? Think about the start of the universe. Yeah, there's the Big Bang, but you can go back before the Big Bang. I mean, just keep going further and further and further back to the very, very beginning when there was nothing. Well, if you're an atheist, it gets difficult to go back that far because you're looking at one of two things. Either that the universe just created itself from nothing, which is kind of hard to believe, or maybe the universe never created itself. It just keeps going further and further back infinitely into the past. That's hard to argue as well. Because if you think about it, neither of those things really make any sense, logically speaking. The universe could not have created itself from nothing. And we know that because nothing is able to create itself. I didn't create myself. You didn't create yourself. A rock didn't create itself, okay? So it's hard to believe that the universe just appeared, that there was nothing, and then all of a sudden there was something. And then that something had this massive chain reaction that started the universe. That's hard to believe, okay? That defies logic. But it also defies logic to say that the universe's lifespan extends ad infinitum into the past. How can there be anything if there's no beginning? If there's no first thing to a series, there's no series at all. If you don't play Game 1 of the World Series, there's no World Series. You have to play the first game, right? If you don't play the first game, then you're not going to play anything at all. So, I don't know. It's hard, but I mean, you try to work through it logically how we could be here, and it almost feels like the universe is an effect without a cause. It logically doesn't make any sense unless there's a God. Unless there's someone, or at least something, who is the first cause of the universe. That's what Aquinas says, the first efficient cause. The guy who created something at some point in time, which then started this chain reaction, which then gave us the universe. But the point is, the universe's existence has to go beyond itself, okay? If the entire world was just what we can see and nothing else, then logically speaking, we could not exist. There must be something else. Now you might be wondering, how is it that we say that the universe needed a first cause, but we say that God did not need a first cause? We say that God has always existed and he was never created, which also defies logic, now doesn't it? Yes, but we don't actually believe that. What we actually believe is that God is beyond time itself. So think of time as a little bubble, okay? We are all in that bubble. The universe is in that bubble, but God is outside of that bubble, meaning there is no past with him, there's no future with him. He's eternally present. We sometimes say that God has always existed infinitely into the past, but we actually don't mean that. What we really mean is that he simply is. There is no past with him. He simply is. He is eternally present. And that's hard to understand, but remember, that's not the main point here. The main point is that there must be more to the universe than what we can see. Otherwise, logically speaking, we could not exist. We are the effect. There must be a first cause. The universe cannot be both the cause and the effect. There must be another cause that goes beyond the universe. Now, whatever that cause is, whether or not that's the Christian God, or whether or not that's something that's even alive, whatever that first efficient cause is, the name we give that cause is God. From St. Thomas More in Appleton, Wisconsin, my name is Andy Shimura. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.